I was still inside the dungeon. The cottage wasn't a memory or a dream. It was a safe place the system gave me between floors. Somewhere nothing hunted and nothing demanded anything from me. Today didn't need a plan, just the basics. Eat something, check my gear. Then, when it felt right, head back down and keep going. The cottage woke me gently. Sunlight. No, that soft golden glow that always felt like morning here. Slipped through the small windows and pooled across the quilt. I lay still for a minute, eyes closed, breathing in cedar and faint wood smoke. The hearth fire had burned down to warm embers overnight, but the room stayed cozy, never too hot, never too cool. The bed held me like it didn't want to let go. I stretched slow, toes curling under the covers, then pushed them back and sat up. Bare feet found warm floorboards. Third day now, maybe fourth. Time didn't rush in this place. It just drifted along beside you. I padded over to the little mirror above the shelves. Reflection looked back, hair wild from sleep, a bit of stubble, eyes brighter than they'd been in a long while. The vine ring caught the light on my finger. Quartz pendant rested cool against my chest. I tilted my head, half smiling. "Look at you," I muttered, starting to look like someone who knows what he's doing in a dungeon. Almost. A bath sounded necessary. Yesterday had been a whirlwind. Photo booth revelations, retro TV shop, legendary hood from the lake, new gloves and tonic, and stones tucked in the satchel. I'd been too busy having fun to notice the grass stains on my sleeves or the faint scent of lake water still clinging. Small things, important things. I thought bath, and the door appeared in the far wall. Simple wood, no knob, just a gentle push. Inside, the stone tub waited, water already steaming, lavender and mint curling up in soft wisps. I stripped, sank in, let the heat wrap around me like an old friend. Water lapped quietly, steam rose. I scrubbed slow, soap foaming soft, rinsing clean, then leaned back, arms draped over the edges, and just breathed. Yesterday, I'd pulled a legendary hood out of a safe zone lake. Today, I was taking a bath in a summoned cottage like it was normal. The dungeon was weird, kind, and oddly generous. I liked it. Clean, dressed, hair still damp, I stepped onto the porch. The valley opened wide and gentle, tall grasses swaying in that unfelt breeze, wildflowers nodding blue and violet, stream sparkling like it had secrets. Birds called soft and lazy. The enormous tree stood in the center, branches layered high, trunk massive and calm. At its base, the giant carved entrance waited, wide stone stairs spiraling down into shadow. The wooden arrow sign nailed to the bark still pointed down with one word: exit. I snorted, leaning on the porch rail. Exit? Sure. That's definitely the way to the next floor, isn't it? Sarcastic grin tugged at my mouth. Fine, dungeon. I'll bite. But not before breakfast. Plans were already forming, loose and easy. Keep leveling whatever skills felt natural today. Fishing again. Maybe some appraisal on the new stones. See if talking with machines wanted another chat with the booth. Eventually, head down those stairs and find out what the company had waiting. No rush, just curiosity and a little clever mischief. I walked the short path to the lake, water glassy in the morning light, reeds whispering, wooden dock jutting out like an invitation. I sat at the edge, boots dangling, thought fishing rod. Satchel hummed softly. Bamboo pole appeared, line baited. First cast. Bobber settled. Small tug. Silver fish, quick and shiny. Into the satchel for breakfast. Second cast. Fatter trout, good fight, satisfying pull. Sent it in. Third, stronger bite. I leaned into it, grinning. Come on, give me something worth cooking. It surfaced, a solid base, heavy and gleaming. As it broke water, a quiet chime. Pale gold text flickered in the air. Fishing skill increased, adept to proficient, larger catches more reliable, improved chance of unusual rewards. I laughed under my breath. There we go. Keep talking, dungeon. I baited again, cast farther. Another pull. Hard. Rod bent, line sang. When it rose, it wasn't a fish. A hood lifted from the water, dripping slow. Fabric deep midnight blue, with faint silver threading that caught the light like distant stars. I reached out, fingers closing around the edge, pulled it onto the dock. Deep hood, light material, sturdy without being heavy. Parchment tag inside the collar. Hood of quiet shadows. Legendary. Activate for 10 minutes of perfect invisibility and silence. Cool down. 30 minutes. I stared, then grinned wide enough to hurt. You sneaky bastard, hiding legendaries in breakfast fishing? I slipped it on. Hood up. Shadows deepened inside. My reflection vanished in the water. Felt cool, right? Like it belonged. I pulled it down, tucked it carefully into the satchel. Breakfast secured. This was the real prize. I fished another hour, nothing legendary after that, but steady. 3 more good fish, enough for breakfast and lunch. A small vial of shimmering liquid, stamina tonic, minor. Soft leather gloves, dexterity +2. Handful of polished river stones that hummed faintly. Satchel took them all, weightless and content. By the end, the morning light had warmed, valley alive with bird calls and gentle wind through grass. I stood, rod vanishing back into the bag, legendary hood waiting for its first test. I looked toward the tree's entrance one more time, that cheeky exit sign pointing down like a dare. All right, I said to the valley, voice low and amused. Breakfast first, then we go see what you've got waiting down there. I turned back toward the cottage, satchel full, hood tucked safe, already thinking about how sarcastic I'd sound telling this story to myself later. The valley felt like it approved, quiet, kind, ready whenever I was. After a quick breakfast, pan-fried bass with a couple of roasted potatoes, simple and perfect. I felt settled and ready. The cottage hearth dimmed itself as I stepped out, the door closing softly behind me, unbothered, like it expected I'd return. I headed toward the base of the tree, the exit sign still pointing down those spiraling stone stairs with quiet confidence. Not yet. One stop first. The small tent waited nearby, canvas flap half open. I ducked inside. The black and white TV sat on its root-carved counter, rabbit ears tilted just right. It clicked on as soon as I settled in, static clearing to crisp, blocky text. Welcome back, adventurer. Goods and services. I leaned forward, amused. A dungeon that ran its shop through an old television. The system definitely had a sense of humor. The menu scrolled up on its own. Simple icons, neat rows. I thought inventory dump, and the satchel responded immediately. Fish from the lake, the humming river stones, the stamina tonic, extra gloves I hadn't needed yet, even a few stray items from the first day. They appeared on the counter in tidy stacks, the TV chiming softly as each was appraised. The total climbed higher than I'd expected. The stones were apparently valuable, rare crafting material. The fish sold well too. Fresh catch, safe zone. It all added up faster than I'd planned for. Transaction complete. Plus 500 gold. My balance settled at 650. That would do nicely. My attention drifted back to the leather armor set. Same icon as before, same quiet promise. Leather armor set, basic reinforced. Defense, plus 12. Durability, 85 out of 100. Bonuses, plus 3 agility, plus 2 stealth. Minor resistance to slashing damage. Price, 450 gold. Exactly what I needed. I tapped the air. Purchase confirmed. The armor appeared on the counter in a compact bundle. Dark brown leather, soft but reinforced, stitching precise. Subtle embossing traced the edges, vine-like, familiar. Shoulder guards curved naturally, straps already adjusting themselves. Outside the tent, I slipped it on over my tunic. The leather settled easily, light and flexible, moving when I did. The fit was clean, comfortable. Right. The upgrade didn't announce itself. It simply stayed. I took one last look through the shop. A few more steaks, wrapped warm. Another sack of potatoes. A small bundle of trail bread. Supplies felt complete. Gold dropped to just under 200, and I didn't mind. When I stepped away, the armor creaked softly with each movement. Not loud, just present. Ahead, the tree waited. The carved entrance yawned at its base, stairs winding down into cool shadow. The exit sign pointed the way, patient and certain. I adjusted the hood of quiet shadows in my satchel and started toward the stairs. Time to see where it led. I gave the cottage one last look over my shoulder. The porch still glowed softly. The rocking chair waited where I'd left it, patient and familiar. I'd be back. The enormous tree stood ahead, its entrance open and welcoming. Less carved stone than living wood, as if the trunk itself had decided to make room for me. I stepped inside. The stairs curved downward in a gentle spiral. Smooth dark wood underfoot, roots braided into the walls, thick and steady, easy to rest a hand against. Nothing cold or sharp here. The whole place felt warm, grounded, alive. Small, glowing mushrooms lined the edges of each step, pale blue and violet, their light pulsing slowly, almost like breathing. Vines draped from above, leaves brushing my shoulders as I passed. The air carried the scent of damp earth after rain, mixed with something faintly sweet. Whimsical, I thought. The dungeon had moods. A notification shimmered quietly at the edge of my vision. You are leaving Floor 1 safe zone, entering Pixie territory. Estimated monster levels 2 to 5. You are approaching level 3. Not bad. The stairs leveled out into a long corridor of packed earth and living root. The floor had a soft give to it, like thick moss. The same mushrooms glowed along the walls, lighting the path without glare. I pulled up my map. The overlay settled into place, simple and unobtrusive. A calm voice followed, even and clear. "Welcome, adventurer. You have entered pixie territory. These creatures are curious, social, and fond of magical experimentation. Caution is advised." That was enough warning. 2 red markers blinked ahead, just beyond the next bend. I slowed my pace. No rush, just attention. I drew the hood of quiet shadows over my head. The world shifted. Sound softened. Movement dulled. A small timer appeared in the corner of my vision, counting down in quiet silver numbers. Everything else stayed calm. I moved forward. The corridor opened up around the bend. 2 pixies hovered near the wall. Up close, they looked almost delicate. Moth-like wings, wide and slow, dusted with soft light. Small bodies, thin limbs. Antennae curled gently as they drifted, absorbed in whatever they were doing. They didn't notice me. I waited. Let my breathing settle. Let the silence do its work. A smooth stone rested half buried in the moss. I picked it up and tossed it gently toward the far wall. It tapped once against the roots. Both pixies turned, wings fluttering as they drifted toward the sound. I stepped in behind them. The movement was simple, clean. The dagger slid in without resistance. A soft chime followed, then silence, as the pixie dissolved into a scatter of faint light. A small pouch dropped to the floor. Backstab skill increased. Dagger skill increased. The second pixie reacted too late. 1 step, 1 controlled motion. Then it was gone as well, leaving another quiet chime and a second pouch resting in the moss. Notification, level 3. The corridor felt still again. I stood there for a moment, letting the moment pass. The hood's timer continued its slow countdown. When I lowered the hood, the numbers faded. I crouched and gathered the loot. A few coins, shimmering pollen, a small vial labeled pixie dust, minor speed boost. Nothing remarkable. Useful enough. I tucked everything away and straightened, the corridor stretching ahead in soft light and gentle curves. The danger had passed. The rhythm returned. I started walking again, dagger resting easy in my hand, steps quiet, unhurried. The dungeon continued on, calm and open, ready whenever I was. I let out a slow breath as the notification faded. Level 3. That timing felt right. The dungeon had a way of handing out progress when I wasn't paying attention to it. I stood and rolled my shoulders. The new leather armor moved easily with me, already familiar, like it had been there longer than it actually had. I looked around the spot where the pixies had been hovering. Behind a curtain of thin vines sat a simple wooden door, rough-hewn, no handle, just a faint iron latch set into the frame. The pixies had drifted right in front of it, wings beating lazily, like they'd been posted there without much concern, guarding something, or at least pretending to. I stepped closer, careful, the hood still drawn. The timer continued its quiet countdown. As my hand reached toward the latch, a notification surfaced. Trap detected. Pressure-sensitive wire trigger. Spore cloud release. You have acquired trap detection and disarm. Novice. I paused, letting the information settle. Of course there was a trap. The dungeon liked its little lessons. The wire was almost invisible, stretched tight across the door frame at ankle height. It caught the mushroom light just enough to give itself away. A small glass bulb hung from it, mist swirling lazily inside. Spore cloud. That would have been unpleasant. I thought disarm kit. The satchel answered with its familiar hum. A compact leather pouch appeared in my hand. Inside were a few simple tools. Enough. I knelt, movement slow and deliberate, and snipped the wire with a single careful cut. The bulb swayed once, then stopped. Trap disarmed. Trap detection and disarm skill increased. I let out another breath and pushed the door open. The room beyond was small, quiet, more like a forgotten nook than a treasure vault. Packed earth walls, a few glowing mushrooms for light, a plain wooden desk tucked against one side, and in the center, a modest chest, no bigger than a shoebox. Nothing dramatic, nothing demanding attention. I knelt by the chest and lifted the lid. No lock, no trick. Inside were 50 gold coins, stacked neatly. I scooped them into the satchel and moved on. The desk drew my attention next. One drawer, locked. I thought lockpick, and the satchel delivered again. I knelt, set the tension wrench, and worked the picks gently. The pins gave way one by one. Click! The drawer slid open. Inside was a folded piece of parchment. I unfolded it slowly. A hand-drawn map, crude but clear. A winding route through nearby corridors. A marked chamber off to the side. An X drawn with care. At the bottom, a single line of neat script. Treasure awaits the clever. I studied it for a moment, then folded it back up and tucked it into the satchel with the coins. That felt like enough for one room. I stepped back into the corridor. The door closed behind me with a soft, final sound. Level 3. A new skill. A little extra gold, and a map that could wait. I lowered the hood as the timer ticked down, the corridor stretching ahead in gentle curves. Mushrooms lit the way. Roots lined the walls. I started walking again, unhurried, dagger resting easy in my hand. The dungeon continued on, patient as ever. I stepped back into the corridor, the small room's door closing softly behind me as the vines settled back into place. The map in my head still marked that promising X farther ahead, but the day felt open, unhurried. The dungeon didn't seem interested in pushing me along. I kept exploring, choosing turns by instinct, left where the mushroom light dimmed and softened, right where roots arched overhead, thick and steady, shaping the passage like welcoming arms. A few more pixies drifted into view along the way, wings moving lazily, shedding faint sparkles that hung in the air before fading. I dealt with them quietly. Hood up for one, a clean movement from shadow. Hood down for the next, a short exchange that ended just as calmly. Each vanished in a gentle scatter of dust, leaving behind small pouches with coins, petals, and the occasional trinket. The rhythm settled in. Steps. Pause. Listen. Move again. Each encounter refined something small. Stealth smoothed out. Backstab landed more cleanly. The dagger felt easier in my grip. A couple of vine-wrapped chests gave me time to practice simple locks, each success marked by a soft chime instead of celebration. Progress came quietly. A warmth spread through my chest as the shift happened. Level 4 achieved. +1 to all base attributes. Skill point available at the next safe zone. I leaned against a root-lined wall and let my breathing slow. The leather armor moved easily with me, creaking just enough to remind me it was there. Level 4 already. That felt earned. The corridor stretched on ahead, but the satisfaction lingered, steady and calm. Every step had brought me here. Nothing rushed, nothing wasted. After a while, the light softened further. The air cooled just a touch. My satchel carried a little more weight, and my body felt that pleasant edge of tiredness that came from moving carefully all morning. It felt like a good place to stop. I turned back, retracing my steps toward the stairs that led up to the tree. Hood down now, dagger sheathed. The dungeon seemed content to let me go. That was when I noticed it. A narrow opening in the wall, half hidden by hanging vines. It hadn't been on the map before. No red markers, no warnings. Just a quiet gap where the stone curved inward. I pushed through. The corridor opened into a wide, shallow chamber, and the sound reached me first. Water. A waterfall spilled down from a high crack in the ceiling, flowing in a steady, shimmering curtain. Not crashing, not loud, just constant. Silver blue water catching the light as it fell. Mist rose gently from the pool below, cool against my skin, carrying the clean scent of wet stone and growing ferns. The pool was wide and clear. Lily pads drifted in slow circles. Small, glowing fish flashed beneath the surface, appearing and vanishing like distant stars. Vines clung to the rocky edges, heavy with dew that scattered the light into faint, shifting rainbows. No enemies, no movement beyond the water itself. Just quiet. I lingered at the pool's edge, letting the sounds settle over everything else. The small aches of the day eased. The weight of new skills and levels softened into something comfortable. I was about to turn back when I noticed a warmer glow behind the falling water. Not violet, not blue, something closer to candlelight. A narrow stone ledge ran along the pool's edge, disappearing behind the curtain. Curiosity nudged me forward. I stepped onto the ledge, boots slipping just slightly on the wet stone. Mist dampened my shoulders and hair, but the armor held off most of it. I pressed close to the wall and edged behind the falls, the sound growing louder, then softer again as the space opened. The chamber beyond was small and dry. Smooth stone walls veined with faintly glowing quartz cast a gentle amber light. No moss, no roots, just clean lines and stillness. A simple wooden bed rested against one wall, quilt folded neatly, pillow waiting. A small desk and chair stood opposite, a lantern already lit, its flame steady without wick or oil. The air smelled of clean linen and cedar. Pale gold letters appeared, calm and unhurried. Safe room. A voice followed, warm and reassuring. Welcome, adventurer. You have discovered a safe room. Here, you may rest without threat. The words faded, leaving the room unchanged. I let out a long breath and stepped inside. Boots came off by the door. The satchel rested on the desk, cloak over the chair. I sat on the edge of the bed and stayed there for a moment, hands resting on the quilt. The waterfall's sound was muted here, distant and soothing. Lantern light moved gently across the walls. My shoulders dropped, my jaw relaxed. The day's tension unwound one piece at a time. Level 4. New skills settled quietly, gear secured, gold tucked away, and now this. I leaned back, looking up at the low ceiling where quartz veins glimmered faintly. This would do. I stretched out on the bed, still dressed, dagger placed within easy reach on the small table. The mattress held me perfectly, firm, steady, supportive. The lantern dimmed itself, leaving only a soft glow. Outside, the waterfall carried on in its steady rhythm, water folding over itself in long, even sheets. The sound filled the space beyond the walls and softened as it reached the room, settling into a low, continuous hush. The safe room stayed consistent around me. Stone held its warmth. Light remained low and even. The bed supported my weight and stayed settled beneath me. I drew the quilt higher, easing it across my chest until it rested where it wanted to. The fabric felt worn in and familiar, softened by use. Heat lingered where my hands passed, spreading slowly through the layers. The mattress supported me evenly, firm beneath the padding, steady enough that my shoulders sank deeper as my body finished adjusting. The lantern cast a quiet amber pool across the room. Its glow traced the edge of the desk, the tucked-in chair, the smooth curve of the stone wall. Shadows moved gently where the light thinned, stretching and settling at an unhurried pace. Water moved behind the walls in a constant fall. The sound blended into the room until it felt woven into the air itself. My breathing followed it naturally. The satchel rested on the desk where I left it, strap folded against the wood. Coins added weight to its shape. The map lay pressed flat inside, edges smoothed among other belongings. The hood stayed deeper in the bag, fabric resting against itself. My fingers relaxed against the quilt. The leather of the armor gave a faint, familiar sound as I shifted, then settled with me. The fit felt complete, shaped to my posture, shaped to rest. Level 4 lingered as a quiet awareness. Balance felt even. Movement from earlier in the corridors had smoothed into something instinctive. That sense stayed present, calm and grounded, asking little of my attention. The room carried a clean scent. Linen, warm stone, a hint of cedar that echoed the cottage above. Lighter here, meant for brief stays and passing hours. I turned my head slightly, eyes half open, following a thin quartz vein along the ceiling. Its glow traced a gentle line before dissolving into shadow. Another caught my attention for a moment, then drifted away as my focus softened. The sound of falling water blended with my breathing until both moved together, rising and settling in the same slow rhythm. I shifted one hand closer to my chest, palm warm against the armor beneath the quilt. My shoulders eased further into the bed, muscles unwound in small stages, one after another, without guidance. Time stretched and loosened. The lantern eased down again, light settling into a low, steady glow. The room remained steady and patient, holding its shape around me. I closed my eyes and stayed there, letting the moment carry on,